Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 4, Chapter 21. Sravana and Smarana. The first among the 9 forms of devotion is Smarana, hearing, and today we have installed here at the Prashanti Nilayam this instrument for Smarana, namely the telephone. I am used to hearing not the talk that comes through this instrument, but the cries of agony, the call of pining hearts hungering for grace. Still, since it gladdens the hearts of devotees, and I am never against anything that makes them glad and full-hearted, I have agreed for this installation. Just now, sitting in this hall on this chair, you heard me speak to Kanjilal at New Delhi, and only he and I know how happy he is at the present moment, for he was able to speak to Baba direct and to hear my voice while he is in his own house. Just see how this telephone itself came to be installed. The engineering staff were working day and night to fix it, but heavy rains interfered, and even this noon, they were afraid that a connection with Delhi had become next to impossible. I had fixed the time as 5:30, but they pleaded with me to postpone my coming into the hall for a few minutes at least, so that they could make sure that Delhi was coming through fine and clear. I said that we could speak to Delhi later if they felt that would be better. Sravana can transform the individual. But you saw how, as soon as I sat on this chair, Kanjilal could be heard clearly, and I could inaugurate the service. It is given to these men who are here today to share in this achievement and this joy. They have the luck, the chance. Many times people search far and wide for a groom for their daughter. But all the while the young man might be in the neighboring house itself. The engineers may say that they only did their duty and they might not look for any gratitude. But I am sure you will thank them for the service they rendered in these rains under high pressure of work. Sravana, hearing the voice of God, hearing about God, these are important events in life, events that transform the individual. Arjuna heard the Bhagavad Gita. Parikshit heard the Bhagavanta. Both were liberated from bondage thereby. In the Mahabharata, Karna, meaning the ear, is the most outstanding character. It is called Karna Rasayana, sweet medicine to be heard and assimilated into daily life. The Sabda, sound, the Pranava, Om, are all very important keys to bliss. The Vedas are to be heard and recited. They are Shruti, that which was heard in moments of supraconscious ecstasy by purified scholars during sadhana. I am reminded of all this in the presence of this contrivance for Sravana, hearing people who are far away. Bhagavanta Sravana, listening to Bhagavanta, leads to Bhagavanta Smarana, the constant remembrance of the Lord, and detachment from the ties of the objective world. There was a famous dacoit once who advised his son while initiating him into the ancestral profession. Never for a moment listen to stories of the Lord. Do not stay to listen to any Purana, mythological stories, or any reading of the Bhagavanta, tales of incarnations of Vishnu. He exhorted the young aspirant. The son scrupulously observed this injunction for years and amassed a good fortune. Effects of hearing the Bhagavanta. One night, however, while running with his lute on his shoulder through a side lane of the city to avoid the police, A piece of glass cut into his soul. He sat for a while to pull it off and stop the flow of blood. He was then behind a house where someone was reading and explaining the Bhagavanta to a small group of listeners. He listened perforce for a short 2 minutes. The spark fell on the heap of cotton. During that short period, he heard the Pandit explaining the nature of God. He has no ears, no eyes, no limbs. He has 1,000 forms. He is without form. Sarvata Panipadam. With hands and feet everywhere, as the Gita says. That description got fixed in his heart. He could not shake it. A few days later, the police came to know of the depredations made by him as well as his associates and kinsmen. In order to know more about their activities, they entered the area incognito. One constable as goddess Kali, and some others as the worshippers and priests. They shouted and yelled, cursed and terrified the dacoits, and called upon them to come out of their homes and fall at the feet of Kali. Many did so, but the son who heard the Bhagavanta, albeit for 2 minutes, knew just enough to save his skin. He was not terrified at all. He challenged the constable who was acting the role of Kali and tore off his makeup and exposed the plot and instilled courage into the hearts of the gang. Then, when the police left discomfited, he argued with himself. If 2 minutes of the forbidden fruit could help me so much, what can I not gain if I devote myself entirely to the stories of the glories of God? He left off the evil path and became a sadhaka, spiritual practitioner. Tongue is man's biggest weapon of offense. The grace of God descends upon the eager sadhaka who listens attentively to the story of that grace. The name of God, if recited with love and faith, has that power. Once the mother of Agastya boasted that her son drank all the waters of the ocean, but the mother of Hanuman, who was there, said, "Why go to that extent? My son leaped over it in a trice." But there was the mother of Rama with them. She said, "Your son leaped over the ocean, uttering my son's name." Without it, he was helpless. The name was that overmastering power. It can award unheard of, unimagined strengths and courage. The other 2 women disputed the fact that it was Ramanama that strengthened Hanuman for the enterprise. So Kaushalya asked Rama himself. He said, "Why, it was because this body was called Rama, the name that combines the Bijaksharas, mystic letters of both Shiva and Vishnu, that I myself was able to conquer Ravana and his hordes." The name has much efficacy. By repeating the name, the Lord and his attributes can be easily identified. The tongue must be sanctified by the repetition of the name. It has also to use sweet expressions which will spread contentment and joy. Be very careful about your speech. Animals have horns, insects have stings, beasts have claws and fangs. But man's biggest weapon of offense is his tongue. The wound that his tongue inflicts can scarce be healed. They fester in the heart for long. They are capable of more damage than even an atom bomb. When Bhima went to bring the Saugandhika flower for his beloved, he saw Hanuman with his tail flying across the road. Bhima talked rudely to Hanuman, ordering him to remove the tail, for he thought it mean to walk over someone else's appendage. The rudeness made Hanuman refuse the demand, and so Bhima was humiliated, for he could not lift the tail and set it aside. He learned the need for politeness in conversation. Speak so that your language is as sweet as your feelings are. Make the words true and pleasing. Satyam brot priyam bruyat. But for the sake of pleasing another, do not speak falsehood or exaggerate. Cynicism, which leads you to speak about a thing in a carping manner and in order to bring it into disrepute, is as bad as flattery, which makes you exaggerate and cross the boundaries of truth. Bliss is man's native character. You can give Ananda by your speech, only if you have attained the state of Ananda yourself. A lamp burning under a pot with 5 holes, that is the symbol of man, who has the flame of wisdom shining through 5 censers. Cover the pot with a thick cloth, and no light emerges. The cloth is the cover of ajnana, ignorance, of tamas, inaction. Remove it, it shines feebly through the censers. That is the symbol of rajas, passion and activity. Remove the pot itself, that is to say, remove the identification with the body, the dehatma buddhi. Then the Atma Jyoti, light of the self, shines full and bright. The Jyoti or Ananda, divine light or divine bliss, is ever there, but it was obstrued by the pot and the cloth. Ananda is your native character, your real stamp, your very reality. The patient must himself drink the drug. There is no vicarious cure. The balm must be applied where the pain is. The cause of the illness and of the misery is in your mental vision, for you see many when there is only one. You say, my God, their God, your Baba, as if there are so many gods existing to help you quarrel and right among yourselves. Ask the Lord for the removal of your earthly troubles. There is no mistake in that. It is much better than asking other men and losing self-respect and honor. For the sake of votes, people catch hold of the feet of all and sundry. If they fall at the feet of the Lord, that will bring them more votes, for the people will plead with him to lead them as a great servant of God. Communicate from heart to heart. You can call me on the phone, but I will not be available for all those who do not have the sincere and steady yearning for the Lord. For those who say, no, you are not my Lord, I say no. For those who say yes, I too echo yes. If I am available in your heart, I will be available over the phone. But remember, I have my own special postal and telephone systems. They operate from the heart straight to the heart. There are rules and regulations for the operation of that system, which the Shastras, scriptures, declare. You can find them there. I am glad that the devotees have today acquired this new convenience at Prashanti Nilayam. Prashanti Nilayam, July 29th, 1964. Difficulties are created to increase the yearning and to sift the sincere devotee from the rest. Sri Sathya Sai Baba.